We all have those movies and traditions this time of year that we revisit fondly and gives us a nice hit of nostalgia. Today, I want to give you guys some more horror hot takes, Halloween edition. Hey, what's up everybody? Nick here, and today I want to give you guys some more hot takes, specifically centered around Halloween, the month of October, the fall season. You're going to hear me talk about movies that you may love. A lot of them are really nostalgic for a lot of people, so I'm sure some of these hot takes are going to piss you guys off. And without further ado, let's get right into it. And my first hot take, I've never thought Beetlejuice was all that good. Look, I understand why it's as popular as it is. I mean, it's got a great cast. Michael Keaton's great in the role. Winona Ryder. It's an all-timer for a lot of reasons. I understand that. And I think it came out at a very important time, and it just really kind of caught on. And as the years have gone on, it's almost like the legend of Beetlejuice has gotten bigger than the movie. Now, Beetlejuice just came out, and it made, it's closing in on making close to $500 million worldwide, which is huge. I mean, I don't think anybody expected it to make that much money. Well, obviously, there's a lot of Beetlejuice fans out there, and I'm not trying to piss those fans off. I've just never really warmed to it. It's never been a movie that I feel like I have to watch every October. Whereas everybody was so excited for the sequel, and they're always posting about this movie this time of year, I honestly could take or leave it. I haven't watched it this October, and I don't plan to. So there's my first one. And then piggybacking off of that is another one that I'm sure is going to offend some people, and that is Corpse Bride is Tim Burton's best movie. Now, I've seen all of Tim Burton's movies, but most of them only once, because I've never been a huge Tim Burton fan. He has a very specific style and tone, and I think that it works for a lot of people that really love that. I've just always felt like at times it's over the top. Every world doesn't really seem dissimilar from the other movie. It's all like the same world, and maybe that's the point, but it's just never really jived all that well with me. But I will say Corpse Bride is the one Tim Burton movie that I've actually found myself going back to many times. And I actually really like this movie. Part of it is genuinely disturbing and haunting for a movie that's technically for children. And that's one thing Tim Burton has always done well is oh yeah, it's PG. But is it really PG though? And this one is no different. The animation is freaky looking, the atmosphere is just on point, and it's got a really, really good story. And I just really love the themes of this movie. It's actually kind of sad, and I don't know, it just works. It really resonated with me. So I get why so many people love Tim Burton, but I feel like this one doesn't get talked enough about. It's kind of a bummer because I think Corpse Bride is Tim Burton's best movie, and it's like an essential October viewing for me. All right, this next one's going to cut really deep, so I apologize in advance, guys. Again, these are just my opinions, so don't come at me too hard. The next one is Hocus Pocus is massively overrated. Okay, so I know there are a ton of Hocus Pocus fans. I know some people just heard me say that and they're like, oh my God, cancel this dude. Hear me out. I didn't watch this more than once or twice throughout my childhood, so maybe that's why I don't have a fondness for it. It's just never really struck the right tone for me. I've always felt like it was way too Disney Channel, and that was the point. This is a family movie, a kid's movie, but it's just not at all something that I was seeking out at that time, and even more so now. Now, it's ironic because I love the Halloween Town movies, at least the first two, so you might go, well, dude, it's literally the same thing. And it is. I can't even argue with that, but for some reason, Halloween Town worked for me. Maybe it's because I saw it at the right age, but Hocus Pocus has just never done it for me. It never has, and I was willing to give the second one a chance, too, even as someone that's not a huge fan of the first one. And I thought the second one was actually quite bad. I actually thought it was just we didn't need to do this. I can understand the nostalgia and the love for Hocus Pocus, but maybe it should have stayed in the 90s. Did we really need to bring this one back? And even a lot of fans of Hocus Pocus, I found saying the same thing. Yeah, the second one exists. It happened. And you shouldn't ever say that about a sequel to a beloved property. That should tell you something. So, again, I understand. Massively beloved, but it's never been for me. Now, this next one is one that I was told going into watching these two movies that you're going to be a fan of one or the other, but you're not going to love both. And from what I've heard, that was correct, because my next one, Haunt, is way better than Hellfest. Now, hear me out here. Hellfest, I will give its flowers in the fact that it is very bombastic, it's very fun, it's a lot quicker paced, I'd say, and it's just dripping in that Halloween aesthetic and atmosphere. Like, it nails all of that. But the characters, the plot, some of the lack of really inventive gore, I just was kind of bored. I felt like it was way too teeny boppy for me, and I just wasn't a huge fan. Meanwhile, Haunt is a slow burn, absolutely, but it's genuinely frightening because the entire time you're watching this movie, you know something's going to go wrong, and as the pieces start coming into place, you are thinking about what you would do in that situation. And the movie is just mean. I mean, it is just downright mean. And it nails the aesthetic as well. It's a lot more contained, it's a lot more isolated, and it's more claustrophobic, but I've been a Haunt guy since I saw these two movies. I don't even really care for Hellfest all that much. I know a lot of people love the movie and they watch it this time of year every single year, and more power to you. But I feel like Haunt, just from a technical perspective, is such a better movie, but more so, I just think it really aligns with what frightens me and what interests me. And kind of a movie that plays with, I don't know, cults and evil and despair, like, just, I don't know, works for me. So Haunt, way better than Hellfest. Next up, this one is totally rooted in my nostalgia. I don't care. Again, this is not an objective list, guys. This is subjective, and it's meant to start conversation. But I think the best cartoon around this time of year is It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Look, I loved Charlie Brown growing up. I still do. I made sure to show him to my son at a very young age because I wanted it to become a yearly tradition for him as well. It is a brisk watch. It's not too long. Every single Peanuts movie has a good message. Every special has something to latch on to that's bigger than just, oh, it's a holiday-themed special. No, there's always a message there, and I feel like it resonates. It resonated as a child, and it still does for me as an adult. And I just think that it is timeless. You know, it's one of those things where you can easily watch this as a 5-year-old or as a 40-year-old and find enjoyment in it. And I think if it can stand the test of time like that and it can go on for generations, I don't know. What animated special is better than It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown? In my opinion, there isn't any. Now, in the effort to not piss too many more people off, my last one for this video is going to be quite cut and dry. Trick or Treat from 2007 has the greatest fall atmosphere I've ever seen in a horror film. And I said it. I think Trick or Treat has the best Halloween aesthetic. I mean, this movie, come on. From the lighting, to the set design, to the color palettes they use, to the desaturation of colors, to the oversaturation of colors in certain scenes. This movie is everything Halloween rolled into one. Every single scene is just covered in something that's going to make you think of October 31st. Every single scene. And that, in and of itself, like, even if you don't like the movie, the stories don't work for you, you don't care for the acting, whatever it is, you have to applaud the genuine attention to detail that went into this movie because they absolutely nailed the Halloween aesthetic. I mean, still, like, I'm not even kidding you. I cannot think of a movie right now that did it better. I can make arguments for some movies that have great Halloween atmosphere. I can make so many arguments because I feel like that's kind of a prerequisite. If you're going to do a Halloween movie, it should probably feel or look like Halloween. Halloween Resurrection, we don't talk about, but it's like, there's no better. There's nothing better than this one. I've still yet to find one better than this one. And I know that somebody's going to comment on this, somebody that doesn't like this movie, and they're going to say, oh God, that's a terrible take. It's not about one's opinion on the film, though I love it personally. It's simply just objectively looking at the fact that they absolutely freaking nailed the atmosphere in this movie, and I genuinely have not seen it done better to this point in my life. And I don't know if I ever will. But those are some of my hot takes, Halloween edition. I want to hear down below what you guys have to say, because I know I said some things in this video that are really going to strike a chord with some 90s kids. I know I did. I understand that. I am willing to take whatever shit comes my way. But let's discuss it in the comment section. Let's try to be polite, but if you're not, whatever. I'll still throw you a heart and be on my way. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm pulling out.